Hi, I am Gabriel Dirksen, and this is my school and community relations case study for EDL 856, and this is our last module, Module 14. Section 1 was this a summary and the facts of the case. So I read through the case study, and evidently they are forming a new parent organization. They got out of the national PTA. I don't know what the reasoning was for that, but they evidently found that they needed to do something else. The principal is supportive of the group. The principal was involved in the relationship that the parent organization had last year. He wants them to be active in the school. The PTA held an important role last year, and he thought that they were doing a great job. The president of the PTA was rude to the principal. He was a young male. He was an attorney, so they kind of had the reading kind of gave me that he came off a little bit arrogant to the principal. The PTA group wants to be more involved in the school. Wants to change the back to school day drastically. They didn't like how that back to school day was formed, and so they want to do something different and have meetings that would involve each of the class teachers presenting on the topic, however many nights that may be. That seemed like a lot of extra work and a lot of extra evenings for all the parents to be there. They want to the new PTA wants to help decide policies, teacher performance, curriculum, and overall school evaluation. Legal and ethical issues. I thought there was kind of a lot of legal issues you could face. Parents want more involvement, so there will be some legal issues there about how much the parents can do legally. They are really just need to be a supportive feature of the school and not so much in the role. Obviously, parents can't make policies and demand changes in the school. They need to go at this at a more appropriate angle of the Board of Education. If they think they want that much involvement, they need to either run for the board and be on the Board of Education, or they need to vote for somebody that has the same views as them to get them on the board and to have somebody seated at the board that has their beliefs. Just the ethics of the case, some things I can see that could go bad. You don't want to start off on a bad foot with the PTA group. You want to have a good relation with your community. You want this to be a positive relationship because you want your students to get the most out of this relationship possible. The president of the PTA is an attorney. He came off as pushy and rude, so you could see him trying to overstep his boundaries, or him having a big ego could affect how parents and other people around him perceive him. The PTA should have a positive and effective change for the school, and they should meet multiple nights, put some more work on teachers, especially if they want them to present. There would be more involvement in that. And so I think a good alternative is the school complete a mock bell schedule, and it could all be done in one night. And so that's something I hope to touch further on, just to talk about that, but just having the parents be there for one night of school and have a 10-minute bell segment where they walk through their kids' class schedule to get the back to school plan, and they can see all the classes that their student is in, so they get a better feel of what's going inside, because the PTA said they didn't get a good feel for what was going on there. I also looked up an article on the U.S. Department of Education, and it had a section under parent involvement describing the legal obligations. And so there are definitely some legal boundaries that parents can't cross, and that they just need to be there for a supportive factor, and they need to work with one another, and we don't need to have dividing sides. We don't need to be you have to be on one side or the other. We definitely need to come up and have a positive and effective relationship between one another. And that would be what that standard is achieving, to engage and cultivate relationships with the diverse community members. And that would be our overall goal, just like our standard states. This is synthesized. We need a PTA group that is active and effective and affects a positive change in the school and community. I think that just brings it down to one sentence of what we are after here. This PTA group, we want to affect a positive change in the school and the community. And so we want the overall outcome to be and a positive environment for the kids to be successful as possible in high school and beyond in their college years. So that's our overall goal. Consider the facts. Sorry about that. Don't know what happened, but consider the facts. Know the facts of the case. The PTA is important and necessary for school. That is an organization that will be found in all school districts, so it is very important that they are there and involved. The school situation needs to be handled correctly. If not, a backlash could be devastating. By that, I mean this principal needs to handle this issue because on his PTA group, I mean, the one said an attorney, and I guarantee you there's a diverse community of people on that board, and so there would be many relations he would be affecting. If he does not have a good relation with the president of the PTA, that president's going to talk bad about him to all the members on the PTA, and so that he would be fighting a negative relationship with that PTA, and that's the number one goal. You need to have the parents that are actively involved in the schools your number one supporters. So that principal has to do whatever it takes to get the parents on board with his ideas and to calm the storm, if you will, and just be as nice and polite and positive for that parent of the president, that attorney, as possible. But the parents are right. Parents need to have a voice and need to be involved with the education of their child. I mean, that's the parents' number one worry, so that's got to be the number one thing we focus on, and we are doing the best we can to help their children succeed. More facts continued. Parent organization wants to take more control of their contribution to the school. So the parent organization wants to do more. They want to be more involved. They want to do some more things to put them actively in the school, like I listed earlier in the facts, like with the curriculum and the teacher assessment. Principal needs to make sure the group doesn't overstep their boundaries. They need to make sure that the parents are there for a support factor and that they don't do too much and want to get too far into policies, because that will overstep their legal boundaries. Principal needs to establish a positive relationship and be informed with them, inform them and on everything. Okay, just being as transparent as possible. We are not trying to do anything in the walls of the school that would be hiding anything. We want to show everything off, but yet as teachers, we don't want to be having to be watched all the time and to like having to prove what we're doing is right. I mean, we're the masters, if you will, in the Department of Teaching. We don't want to be told by outside parents of other jobs what we are doing wrong. And the bottom line is, all of us are doing the best we possibly can for each student to succeed out in the world and in the school. I mean, that's our number one bottom goal across the board. Administration, parents, and teachers. We want that child to succeed. No teachers in this to see somebody fail. Parent groups needs to know their role and not try to be the role of the board. So if they want that role of the Board of Education, they need to apply and try to run for the board. Legal issue would restrain the parent group from working in that manner. So they just need to make sure they're following their steps and not crossing over any boundaries on their end. Sorry, I'm just checking my timer. The prioritized information. The parent organization has many stakeholders involved. How this issue is handled will greatly affect the school administration and the outlook from the community, which is huge. The PTA, what is the PTA's role? They want to do more than last year. So I need to know more about what the role of the PTA really is. I mean, they just kind of gave a brief information that they were upset with last year and they want to do parent-teacher conferences on a different week, which is totally fine. I mean, every school needs parent-teacher conferences. Those are a must-have, and I suggest that you do 2 a year. Promote ways they can work side by side to accomplish a goal. Everyone involved wants what is best for the students, like I stated earlier. Little information is known to make a definite decision. I mean, they just gave us one problem. They didn't give us too much resolution of where they went after this problem was brought up, so it's kind of hard to make a definitive decision. Meeting held, principal didn't know about, so this PTA group is already doing some stuff under the table that they just need to be transparent, just like the schools need to be transparent of what's going on. I had trouble coming up with options, but option one was I just said give PTA control, let them have control, and let them do what they want. I just held no restraints. Option two is work side by side with the organization, talk and negotiate with their role, let them have a voice, but manage what they do. So, I mean, that's just working together and working out our issues. Key points: parents are valuable stakeholders. Community and business partners are involved in that. The parent group would have many parents and many community members on their side. So we need to we have a positive relationship with them. Working in PTA makes for a well-liked school in the community. So that positive relationship is huge. Back to school week puts a lot of work on the teachers. I think a mock schedule where the teachers would just have to follow this bell schedule, and you shorten each class period to 10, 20 minutes where they could talk with each class and each parent could go around with their student for the day. I think also another way that they survey the parents, and they need a respected relationship that's well balanced. So I think that is one way. Pros and cons: the community would be happy, parents would get what they wanted. The cons: the teachers might be upset, and with the extra workload, administrator would feel pressure by the PTA because the PTA would be looking over everybody's shoulder if we gave them what they want. The pros for the option number two, which is to work well with one another, was a well-rounded working organization. Both sides would get a little of what they wanted. Positive working environment for the teachers and a positive working environment for the kids where the parents are there to support them and they are doing whatever they can to help best positively affect them. The cons could have a few upset PTA members. Can't please everyone though, but I hope that would be the best solution. I would suggest option number two. It's the most collaborative decision. The PTA, the community, the teachers, and the administration all working for a common goal of student success. This thing is bigger than one person. Just because you don't have a voice, I guess, just because a parent doesn't get what they want doesn't mean we can't come to a common ground of what the best option for the student success would be. We all need to work together because that's what we are there for day in and day out. Implementing this, I think it would take a lot of collaboration, a lot of input. I mean, I think the parent-teacher association, they could get out what they want from this. They could survey the community members. They could survey the stakeholders. As teachers, we could do that. Or in reverse, the PTA could survey the teachers. They could survey the students. They could survey the parents. They could put a survey together to see what needs need to be met in our schools, what teachers might not be seeing that needs to be met, are some huge things that and a survey could get, other than just looking at teacher performance. I think that is something the administration needs to be held accountable for. Curriculum, I think each school is doing the best they can to meet state standards, so I think we are trialing on that. But I mean, stakeholders and community members, they could help with the curriculum and give us real life problems and real life look into the real world of how this could be used out there. Build a school and community relations. The number one thing is that to show the kids that positive relationships are important and that we can do this by building good solid foundations and working together to reach a common goal, even if it's not what we think is most important. And all working for a common goal, and that is student improvement to be successful out in the real world. Thank you for watching my presentation, and I appreciate this course and all of my classmates in it. Thank you.